So here we have Bury You Deep, which is one of the originals by Chequered Red. First of all, let's start with the kick. So this is very similar to all of the other Chequered Red material in terms of the mixing process. I've gone for the same kind of thing, just gentle low pass on the kick out, low cut I mean, and then a much more aggressive low cut on the kick in, and then Pultec EQ. I decided to try this out on the outside kick, see how it sounded. Attenuate the high end here, which is what I'd been doing on the EQs anyway. Usually for the outside kick, and boost the low end, and it seemed to work quite well for this one. The snare was a fairly standard setup with the high pass, then with the compression to get the thwack out of it, and the Pultec trick after that with a little bit of boost at 8 kHz. And the snare bottom, the same as before. Again, DBX 160, more tickling, not as much thwack out of that I wanted out of this, just a little bit of compression, and taking down on this one, taking down the mid range, and again up with the top end with 12 kHz. This had very little tom usage in total, but for the one rack tom usage, there was a little bit of saturation, but I'm using this more for the character, not for anything else, with extra brightness being introduced, and the transient as well, taking down the resonance of the toms overall, which probably should have been done with dampening material in the session, and the same for this, for the floor tom, and these are panned hard left and right. Then the overheads, I've got my EQ doing the low pass, LA2A, to try and smooth it out, and the Fairchild emulation to do the same thing. The 1073 is taking out 1.6 kHz again. It must have been something in the room that was, or the particular positioning of the overheads on this day, that really made this pop out. Didn't like it particularly, and lots of brightness, and actually a little bit of drive as well for this particular song. This song's slightly more aggressive, so probably the reason why. And the overheads are on kick-in as well, they're being sidechained by kick-in. So then the room mic, it's got its locators around it, EQ locators. Just telling it that don't use this top end and bottom end. And then full ratio compression with DBX 160. It's quite a low threshold to really smash it, and then drive, taking down the top end again. Just a slight bit of drive, mine, taking down the input and up the output, and then side chaining the kick, side chaining to the kick as well. The bass. This time I put the EQ beforehand, a little disco smile there, although it's also got the cuts at the side of it to keep it in its place, 80 Hz cut, but that's before the amp, which is the activator this time. This time I used a different cabinet. 15 inch has more high-end content than the flip top 15 inch. The normal 15 inch has more high-end content, this one, and with a 57 as well. I'm really looking for kind of mid-range, high-end. That's why I've low cut the 80 as well. But I reintroduced that back in with the sub bus as well. Then a little bit of compression. Really, this is only just tickling the bass. And finally being sidechained to the kick. So the piano in this one that's actually the Nord. It's not the real piano. In any case, this is put to the side, and just some little overdubs there. Hi Amy, and we've got DBX 160 just to smooth it out again, and then an EQ that's taking a lot of top end off. I found the Nord piano preset that Amy was using quite bright. Should mention that the threshold is the threshold's here and the makeup gain's there, so it's being pushed quite hard. But equally with the piano, it's more of a you can see the individual chops. It's like it's a really backbeat in this song for a lot of it. And here's I'll go for guitar first actually. So I had to choose between the dirty guitar and the clean guitar when I wanted to use them and when I didn't, but I came up with this anyway. So I've got an M201 and an SEX1R. The SEX1R is quite far away from the amp and the M201's right by it, close miking it. We've got a DBX160, just flattening out the clean part, and then the 1073, getting that scratchy bit out of it and taking away from some high mids, which is really where the piano had a little bit of content there, but I wanted the guitar to be much more top endy and the piano to sit lower underneath it. And then dirty guitar, it alternates between the two, you can see there. I've used dirty guitar for more of it though. So we've got the same setup, and then we've got a solo that's central. Bear in mind the piano's panned to the right, not hard right, but it's quite right. And then both guitars are panned to the left. The solo's in the centre, which is how I wanted it. So the dirty guitar has an LA2A, which helps kind of enunciate the transients on the guitar. Not that there are much transients with distortion, but I'm trying to bring those out because I really want it to retain clarity, you know. And then the Pro Q is just again more of like this is where you get some of the pick noise, trying to retain clarity kind of thing. And then finally we go on to vocals for the tracks, that is. And we've got quite a big presence boost there, and I'm taking down a lot of body off of Indy's voice on this particular one. As she's singing here and not rapping. So vocal rider again, before the LA2A compression, and the Shep 73 boosting top end. And also taking down a tiny bit of the 4.8 kHz. There must have been a slight too much brightness there. Boosting bass again. The Connor special, boosting bass on vocals. Never ever by anybody else. Roughly the same here. Same settings on the same plugins, although the boost isn't quite as much for the low end. And I'm taking down a slightly different point, and more high end boost for Bella's vocals. Then we also introduced an overdub as well, which had its own reverb there. So this, I didn't want to do as much processing on this, just get it through a compressor to smooth it out, let it sit beneath everything else, and then we've got a reverb 1.5 seconds decay. So don't pay any attention to the actual sample. I've made it shorter, and no pre-delay. Which the pre-delay really is designed to help you hear the consonants at the start of words, and I'm taking this right down because I don't want that for the overdubs. I don't want them to be taking the forefront. That's what I want Indy's and Bella's main vocals for. So then to the bus section, is very standard. This is what I've been doing the entire time. So yeah, not much to say about this really. With 1.52 seconds on the reverb. The J37's it's got a slapback, so that's something I got more into, is the slapback sound really, especially with Bella's voice. I enjoyed the slapback sound quite a lot. Arvob's doing its 0.8 second reverb. DBX160 for the bus compression. No EQs after or before it. The same sub bus process. I didn't on the music bus. I didn't sidechain the vocals at all. I think this has been altered since, but I didn't sidechain the vocals. I can be sure of that. They just seem to sit well. And then finally, the same mastering process as before. Really, and then there's the gain into the limiter and 11 dB as boosting it into the limiter. Really, just tickling it again. Didn't want it to pump especially hard this track, and it wasn't really dense enough to be able to take a huge amount of gain. Otherwise, I'd end up reducing by way too much. But that is that's Bury You Deep. That's the other track. Third Shepherd Red that I'll be doing that I have done a mix explanation on.